intangible assets. An intangible asset is an identifiable non-monetary asset without a physical presence. Identifiable in the sense that you can sell it, it is separable, or it is backed up by a contract. You can buy it, you can make it, or you can have it as part of a business combination. If you are making it, you are not allowed to capitalise research expenditure, training costs. You're not allowed to capitalise your own brand. You're not allowed to capitalise your own goodwill. But if you are developing something that is a separate project where you can identify the expenditure, you know you're going to complete it, it's going to give you future economic benefit, then you capitalise that as an intangible asset. That asset has to be annually impaired until you bring it into use. When it is brought into use, you will normally amortise it over a finite life. If you think it has an indefinite life, well, on that basis, it's an annual impairment review. And we looked at a past examination question. So what are we going to do tonight? I still have one more standard to have a look at in terms of non-current assets. I mean, and that's IFRS 5, held for sale and discontinued operations. I then would like to move on to have a look at two disclosure standards in the sense of segmental reporting and related party transactions, neither of which are very sexy. I can't get too excited in my heart of hearts about segmental reporting or related parties because there's no debits and there's no credits. And anyway, whatever, we'll do them. They're on the syllabus, they could come up. We'll do them, we'll look at some past exam questions. And then hopefully, before the end of the evening, I would like to be able to start, probably not finish, but I would certainly like to be able to start leases, ISA 17, and how that pans out and what we think about that as a standard. So, 3 standards we're going to cover for sure, and then we'll start on leases, at least I hope we'll start on leases. So the first standard we're going to have a look at this evening is IFRS 5, which deals with held for sale and discontinued operations. So the full title of the standard is IFRS 5, Non-Current Assets, Held for Sale and Discontinued Operations. This is a standard that some of you have done before. This is a standard that may be new to some of you as well. What I would like to do is do it backwards. To get the definition, let's start with the end. If we have an asset which is held for sale, this was previously a non-current asset. So think PPE. So you have a land and building, you have a property which is now held for sale. So let's assume that it meets all of the conditions, it meets the definition, whatever they are. How would you present that on the balance sheet? Non-current or current?
Non-current.
Because it's held for sale. The way you are going to recover from the asset is from selling the asset. So therefore, you're not depreciating the asset anymore, nor for that matter, and you would need to do an impairment review. The way you're going to recover from the asset is selling it. So if needs be, you're going to write it down to the fair value less cost to sell. So the consequences of an asset being classified as held for sale is that it is presented as a current asset. We cease depreciation and we write down to the fair value less costs to sell. So that's the consequences of classification. We need to have a look at the definition. We need to have a look at the conditions. And if an asset is going to be called held for sale, then all of the conditions must be met at the reporting date. So, if we have an asset which is going to be held for sale, the first thing logically that needs to happen is that management have to make a commitment, have to make a decision that they're going to sell the asset. But a decision is not good enough. You need also to have an active plan. So the assumption is you would instruct agents. You need a decision. You need an active plan. The asset must be in a suitable condition for immediate sale. The building is vacant. The asset works. It's in a suitable condition for immediate sale. And you're offering it for sale at a reasonable price. So you're not being greedy. If you've got a situation whereby you've decided to sell it, you've got a commitment, you've got an active plan, it's in a suitable condition, reasonable price, it's highly probable that the asset is going to be sold within 12 months. And if all of those conditions are met, tick, 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 then the asset is classified not as non-current, but the asset is
Current.
the asset is classified as a current asset, PPE held for sale. Right. So, what are the conditions? There has to be a commitment that you are going to sell the asset. There has to be a commitment. There has to be an active plan. It has to be in a suitable condition. It has to be in a suitable condition for immediate sale. It has to be in a suitable condition for immediate sale. You have to be offering it for sale at a reasonable price, such that ultimately it is going to be highly probable that you are going to achieve the sale in less than 12 months. If those criteria are met, then the asset is held for sale. As we saw yesterday, as we know, what happens in the exam is that it is examined in a practical case study scenario. And there is only going to be 1, maybe 2 marks for the definition or the explanation. What you've got to be able to do is to apply and to make a decision and justify your decision. So let's go straight into a question. Let's go straight into a scenario. We've been looking at IFRS 5 on held for sale. We've been looking at page 63. But I would now like you and invite you, please, to turn to page 76. And on page 76, there is the question called plat. So page 76, there is the question called plat. And there are two parts of plat. There is asset 1 and there is asset 2. I would like to give you the opportunity of reading the question, and I would like to give you the opportunity of thinking about the question.